The Greek philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. He also said that eels don't reproduce. Legit, he thought they spontaneously generated out of the mud. What an idiot. Anyway, today's video is about habits, especially bad ones. Here's 5 things you guys should stop doing. The way I'm going to structure this video, guys, is I'm going to say, stop doing this, and then I'm going to say, do this instead. Otherwise, it'd just be weird if I just say, don't do that, and then leave you to figure out what to do with yourself. I'm going to provide a little alternative that I personally do. Now, I will try not to waffle on. I will try to keep it very, very short and sweet, so please don't skip through this video, because then YouTube thinks you hate it. So anyway, getting into the first habit. First habit I want you to stop doing is checking your phone in the morning. Now, I used to do this all the time. I did it the other day and I broke my own rule and it killed me. So the reason why, and I've said this a million times, is as soon as you check your phone in the morning, most people do this, they just turn to their phone immediately after waking up. When you are waking up out of sleep, your brain's not normally functioning yet. So just think of it like you're still in sleep brain. That's just how I conceptualize it. So pretty much, if you go and check your phone, you'll be bombarded by things. You'll see things on social media, you'll compare yourself to someone else, you'll think, why don't I have a yacht with all these girls in it? What the hell's going on? What am I doing with my life? And then you set yourself up for really, really bad days. So what I do instead of that is, first of all, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb from the beginning I go to sleep. Put that bitch on Do Not Disturb. Make sure you cannot see a notification. Then in the morning, you can still check the time, you can still turn your alarm off, whatever it is, but then you got to do something actually better with your morning. So if this means you get up earlier, I get up earlier. But what I do personally, and I have a very strange routine, but I adhere to it every single day if I can, and that is I read in the morning. I also plan my day. I also do a Wim Hof breathing exercise because it actually just wakes me up more than anything, but that's optional. I want to challenge you guys though to get up, read something. Doesn't matter what it is. It just doesn't matter what it is. Just read a book. I read on my iPad because it's very convenient. And in doing that, you can actually give yourself some time to wake up, actually think. Most people go, oh, I can't read in the morning, but just try it. Let your brain wake up and think. And in terms of books, it doesn't really matter. Something motivational if you want to get you up and about, just whatever interests you. That's the best thing about reading. Just read whatever interests you. I don't care what that is. You could be reading about eels for all I care. I don't really mind. But read something, then once you finish, so maybe I read for probably 20 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I can go about it. Then I plan my day out. So then I plan my day out, I use an app called Things, as well as Notes. I just plan my day of things I really want to get done, what's important to me that day, anything, it can be literally anything. If it's like cardio, if it's just actual tasks, if it's meetings, difficult conversations, whatever it is, I will plan all those out in the day, and then I know, okay, here's what I want to get done today, here's what's ahead of me. Then you can check your phone, because all the time when that happens, I'll check my phone after that, and then I get asked a million other things to do, and I go, okay, cool, but I've already set out my priorities for that day. So then of course you can adjust them and change them, but the most important thing is that you don't let your phone and other people tell you how to run your day or tell you what kind of day you're gonna have. Do something. I don't care what you do, but just do something. And even if you just don't check your phone for that first hour of the morning or 45 minutes, however long you can, perfect. Now, if that's upset you, I apologize, but I guarantee this one will upset you even more. And the second bad habit is eating all the time. And there we go. So what do I mean by don't eat all the time? Now, pretty much nowadays, it is normal in society to literally be eating all the time. This is what people do. They wake up, they have to have breakfast, then they have snacks, and they're constantly eating all the time. Now, if you look at how humans evolved, we didn't evolve by always having food in abundance. So right now is the most food abundant time in like the history of most Western societies, people, everything. So there's food around you all the time. Now, obviously, people are gonna eat it. Now, it doesn't mean that what everybody does, doesn't mean that's good. Now, in the past, I've never been an all-out advocate of fasting. I thought it was good for fat loss, and I would have said, do it if you want to, and if otherwise, it doesn't matter. But I was very much looking at like the fat loss benefits, calorie restriction, all that kind of thing. I never really did it or looked into it for just general health. But now, the more that I'm doing it personally, and more that I'm looking into it, it seems like it is honestly just the healthiest thing. I cannot find a reason as to why I would need to be eating all the time. So nowadays, when friends ask me, should I fast, should I do this, I will definitely tell them 100% yes, you should do that. And then I'm thinking, I've never really said that to my audience, to my followers and just YouTube. I've never really said that because it's very weird in my position to go, yes, do this thing, because then people always attack you for whoever doesn't like that.
Hey, that's bullshit. It only matters what you eat, not when you eat, you dumb piece of shit.
But now I just don't really care anymore. So I'm genuinely thinking, like, just for the purpose of your health, I think you guys should fast. Now, issues running into this is when you start fasting, it's gonna be probably difficult because you're used to eating a certain time. So your body knows what time you usually eat. It's very smart that way. So in the morning, if you eat in the morning, the next day in the morning, you're gonna be hungry around that time. It's weirdly accurate. So all you have to do is just be consistent with whatever time you first eat. And then after 2 weeks, you should be fine. So try push it back. I just tell people, push it out to like maybe push your eating window out, start eating at 10 a.m. Maybe start eating at 11, try that for 2 weeks, see how you go. You really should be fine after that. Me personally, I used to be starving. I used to eat at 4:30 in the morning sometimes. Well, actually for a period, I ate at 4:30 in the morning every day. Now I have my first meal around 12. Sometimes 1, sometimes now it's 20 past 12, I'm not even hungry yet. So I think fasting is good for everyone. It'll help control your blood sugars. You can lose weight on it. Obviously it's a form of calorie restriction, but it just gives your body a time just to be hungry and to not have food and not digest food. It is better for longevity. It's just better for a whole lot of reasons. I mean, other than the reason that food is just great and food's yum, that's the only reason I could think of as to why we'd want to eat all the time. But otherwise, I can't think of a reason. Now onto the next bad habit you guys need to stop doing, and that is having messy hair. Okay, that may not be an actual habit of today's video, but still, I consider it a bonus one. And I do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video and my most favorite, is that a word? Favorite hair product company of all time, Blue Man. So I've been using these guys for nearly 3 years now, I think. Insane, but you can't get much better than that. So I'm gonna show you guys a really quick hairstyling routine, what I've been doing pretty much every day, using my 2 favorite products. So to keep this really simple when you go through this, Blue Man have a pre-styler and a post-styler. So the pre-styler we're using today is a sand cream. This one adds pretty much a lot more texture, thickness, volume to the hair, makes it a lot easier to style, and then you blow dry it to activate it. Also has a heat protectant in there as well, so perfect. And then after that, we use a post-styler Monarch. This one has a really high hold and a low sheen, so it looks natural. You can't really tell there's any product in your hair. Infused with shea butter, and it smells insane. So guys, if you want, you can use Zach at the checkout, you'll get a 10% off. Otherwise, the link is in the description. So first, using the Ascend cream, we're gonna put a little bit in your hand, rub it through your damp hair. Now to grab the blow dryer, do a little trick with it. Blow dry the hair, you'll automatically feel it becoming a little bit thicker. Then when it's basically dry, put a little bit of Monarch in your hair, rub it all through, and then begin styling it however you like. And done, simple as that. And it took me only a few seconds. So guys, like I said, the discount code is Zach, or just use the link in the description below. Now moving to the third bad habit you guys need to stop doing. This will affect physically how you look, and that is comparing yourself, specifically in the gym. I say in the gym because this specifically is what I see all the time, and that is that people go into the gyms and then they look at what everyone else does and they go, okay, that's how I'm supposed to do this thing, and they start training like everyone else. Now, I did that for a long time as well, and then you're constantly questioning yourself on whether what you're doing is the right thing. So now what I do is I have done my own research. I always try to learn as much as I can, and I have stripped back ego and just try to do what I think is right now and what I've been learning. So my training has never been better, and I'm building muscle, I'm feeling great, I have no joint pain, it's actually been amazing. Whereas 99% of people in the gym don't know what they're doing, and they looked around at others who don't know what they're doing to reaffirm that in fact, none of them know what they're doing. Because there is no shortage of morons. So point being, if you compare yourself to other people, now this is not just physically, this is also just mentally, everything else, it pretty much hinders your growth. It'll limit your growth because you're constantly trying to catch up to everyone else. But maybe you're doing the right thing, maybe you're on that right path to success or building a better physique or whatever it is, and then you start changing your ways because you see some idiot doing something different. So don't let people put doubt into your own head. Just be confident in what you're doing, learn, and just focus on yourself. Now, the fourth bad habit is arguably one of the most important ones because it'll affect everything, and most people do this one, and that is going to bed late. So I know now a lot of people are freaking out right now going, no, you don't understand, Zach, I love going to bed late. It's when I get my best work done late at night, all that stuff, which is fair. A lot of people do, but there are a lot of people that actually would feel better if they didn't go to bed late and they're kind of stuck in a rut and they don't know how to get out of it. So for the majority of people, I think, are the latter. They just go to bed late because they have these bad habits and they don't really know which ones are doing what. So I noticed a lot of things in myself when I was going to bed late versus when I was going to bed a little bit earlier. The best quality sleep always happened in the first part of the night. So the different restorative measures of sleep happen at different parts of the night. I believe that the first like 4 hours is pretty pivotal, between like 10 and 2 a.m. type thing. So if you're missing out on that, I just think give it a go. So just be open-minded. Now, there are a few things that I noticed impacted my sleep. One is having caffeine too late. So for me, it wasn't about the amount of caffeine I was having, it was about the timing. So if you can, see if you can avoid having caffeine past a certain point, just for the sake of it especially. Now, if you need to train on caffeine, that's fine. There are things you can take like ashwagandha and theanine to kind of relax and calm down at the end of the day. But definitely if you don't need to have caffeine past say 2 p.m., see if you can put a cap in it. So I have all my caffeine in the morning. I'll have a scoop of Pride in the morning, and if I have a coffee or if I have OxyShred or another scoop of Pride, it is still all before 12 p.m. And then sometimes 2 p.m. is like my limit, but I try to just go like 12. I will get the best night's sleep if I limit at that point. By 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I'm starting to get pretty tired. I noticed immediately because I do the same thing every day. So try that, see if you can do that. Another thing you can do is just avoid screens. Now, this is difficult if this is part of your job and you need to work on computers and stuff like that. And especially living in today's world, it'd be stupid for me to say, just no screens, just cancel them out, because people are just watching there going, yeah, nice one, idiot. Do you know what year it is? So what I like to do is I just don't have any direct computer screens, like bright light, just full illuminating my face at night. I don't do that. If I do and need to do work, I will put night shift mode on my computer as well. I don't do it on my phone as much, which probably I should. And also when I go to bed, I read on my iPad and I have it blacked out. So I don't have the white light, it's just a black background, and that's perfectly fine with me. It's not enough light to signal the eyes clearly and the brain to actually switch on. So another thing you can do speaking of light, in taking advantage of this, is getting some morning light first thing in the morning. This will support your healthy circadian rhythm, pretty much tells your brain, okay, this is what time it is to get up, this is morning, and then it'll start to get tired at the end of the day. So it'll support the tiredness at the end of the day. If you are struggling to stay asleep, another thing that can benefit you is getting some evening sun. Again, circadian rhythm stuff, so just get out 15 minutes at a time. Sunset is obviously a big one for that, but the morning sun doesn't matter. As long as it's bright, just see if you can get outside. So perfect to throw in a 10-15 minute walk if you can be bothered. But otherwise, just open up all your windows and just try to get some sun. That'll help support proper sleep. But the biggest things I find with people is just that timing of caffeine. Try it, see how you go. But like I said, if you need to train on some caffeine, maybe you finish work, fine, that's okay. Don't overdo it, because the amount of caffeine still matters. So maybe just have one scoop instead of doubling it up, and you can go for those relaxants. So like I said, go on iHerb, get ashwagandha, have one of those with dinner, have some magnesium, have some theanine. That should do the job. And lastly, just make sure you have some kind of evening routine for yourself. Now, you could probably guess mine, I read. It just helps. For me, if I go to bed and read, I've made a whole video on sleep, so you can check that out, my sleep routine, but essentially I'll just kind of wind down as the night progresses. I don't go from like all and then just try to get to sleep. I'll like chill, then read, and then at that point my eyes are like literally tired as shit. Sometimes I've even fallen asleep reading like that. Like Joel figured out why I read so fast. It's because one time I fell asleep and my finger was on the next key, and I was just like scrolling through pages a million miles an hour, just like sleeping. Often I literally just fall asleep like that reading. So that for me knocks me out straight away. Sometimes I will listen to an audiobook if I can't sleep. That's just another little hack that I found, because I can kind of just switch off. If you're an overthinker, might be a good thing to do. Just set a timer on Audible for like 10 minutes or whatever, and then just listen to something and you'll hopefully just drift off. Otherwise, you've always got like meditations, guided meditations from Calm. All that stuff is really helpful. But pretty much get any evening routine that you can kind of switch off, just block out the noise for a bit, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, all that stuff. It seems very trivial, but it really does help. So at the end of the day, if you are sleeping better, you will feel just a million times better throughout the day, and it'll just make you a healthier person. So definitely don't underestimate sleep. Now, the next bad habit I want you guys to stop doing is eating everything. So when I say stop eating everything, what do I mean? It pretty much is not a direct stab at F50 macros, but it's just it's a shank. It's like just a quick shiv. Just like that with a screwdriver at F50 macros. Because nowadays, people love to talk about how you can lose fat and eat anything you want, and absolutely everything. And that's fine, okay? That's fine because you can, and I've definitely done it before. But what interests me is what are the lingering kind of longer term effects of eating everything in moderation, right? And that's what was always interesting to me, because I went, that's actually a good point. I couldn't tell people what sugars did to their satiety signals, or I couldn't tell people what sugars did to their mood. And if those certain foods that they were eating of 50 macros would make them want to eat more, or if it would make them adhere to a diet longer or shorter. I couldn't tell them, but I could tell them that, hey, you could lose fat. And that's why I was like, interesting how those things kind of work. So what I did from then on, like the whole point of this video as well is that I'm always trying to learn and kind of question what I'm doing, question what other people are doing, and then always try to half better that and see for myself. So where I'm at now in my current learning, I guess, is eating unprocessed foods as much as possible. So pretty much my diet is very, very similar every single day. I don't eat everything in moderation. I don't try and make a cake or sugars fit into my diet because I don't see all foods as equal. I did for a time when I really believed in it for 50 macros, and I would see foods as equal, but now I don't. I see more foods as nutrient dense. I see foods as better satiety signaling foods to like steak, like good fats. I see anti-inflammatory foods. I see inflammatory foods. They're different things. So to pretty much help you guys out a little bit, I will say what not to eat, and which is what I avoid personally, which is sugars where possible and any inflammatory foods, and obviously foods that don't agree with you that kind of, you feel it in your gut, just get rid of those immediately. And the foods I do recommend is just unprocessed foods. Steaks, whatever carb source you enjoy. I like rice, salmon, eggs, animal products, veg, some fruits. Things like that is what should make up the bulk and honestly all of your diet if you can. When you start putting weird things in there like sugars and other stuff, it's just kind of adding strange spanners into the work. So just because it can be done and you can lose fat or build muscle by eating a bunch of whatever, doesn't mean you should. So I could make a whole video on this whole topic, but the best take home points for you guys is you should feel better, you should perform better, and your whole mental approach to dieting should be better and easier if you eat mainly unprocessed foods. But that is this video done, guys. So I hope you took something out of this. Please let me know how you go, and I want you guys to try at least one of these things, at best all 5. But that is it from me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this and could at least eliminate some bad habits. Hopefully you're not even doing them in the first place. But that is it, guys. Comment below if you enjoyed this, and otherwise I have nothing left for you. And you guys know what to do. Stay massive. Got a fresh cut in the denims, all these sexy jeans in my section, and slide into your DMs in the PM and the AM, then I slide into your feelings when you see just what I'm saying.